Good morning, welcome back. Yesterday we finished up the repairs on our 15K. Just to recap, we did a timing belt service, did a water pump replacement, did the accessory belt, and we did the thermostat and gasket. The parts we're still waiting on is the cap and rotor and the wires, but we're going to go ahead and finish this up because they won't be here for a couple days. And I just want to get this done and get the video done and get it out to you guys. Just to recap, we're going to go over the prices for everything. What you would have paid if you used Generac parts from a Generac supplier online versus I spent a lot of time researching and finding out what would interchange from the automotive side. And I'll go over that when we get to the nitty-gritty. I'll just give it to you bluntly. Generac dealers that I've found, I mean there's some out there that probably aren't, but Generac is very proud of their pricing. The complete service that I will have done, including the cap and rotor and the wires. If you bought all Generac parts, which is a joke because most of the Generac parts are just repackaged other parts. Total cost for an accessory belt, water pump, timing tensioner, timing belt, distributor cap and rotor and wires is $2,126. And I'm going to repeat that because some of you might have not heard it or are on the floor and they're getting back up. The total part cost for what I did this generator would have been $2,126. That's a lot of money to spend on a 26-year-old unit. Total part cost with me researching and figuring out what I can use from the automotive side and commercial side and just parts availability, $110.94. So just to recap, Generac $2,126. My parts list $110.94. That's a 2,000%, over 2,000% markup. I mean, I don't mind paying a little bit more for original equipment stuff, but I don't want to get a colonoscopy with a 5-gallon bucket either. So yeah, just to run it down so you guys can appreciate it. The distributor cap, just the cap, $302. Price range $302 to $359. The rotor, it's obsolete, Generac, $95. Wires, ignition wires, the range is $282 to $359. And I took that price I gave you, I took all the lowest ones I could find. Timing belt, $219 just for the belt. The timing belt tensioner, $404. Water pump, the water pump, $755. And the accessory belt, which is just a basic 3/8 belt, 32 inches and 1/8 inch long, $69. Alright, the distributor cap, if it works, the one I've got coming, which I'm pretty sure it will, it comes off a Nissan forklift, which uses a Mitsubishi motor. $16.82. The rotor, $3.99. The wires come off of a 1993 Mitsubishi Mirage 1.5. $3.49. Closeout, RockAuto. I also bought the premium wire set as an upgrade just to see if I liked them better for $6.99, but I didn't include that here. timing belt kit. Now the timing belt kit I've sourced, which works on this engine because it's a 1.5 Mitsubishi, came with the timing belt and the tensioner for a 1998 Mitsubishi Mirage 1.5. I'll put all this stuff on the screen, or it'll be in the description down below. Gates part number TCK289, $39.79. Water pump. Now, water pump, Generac, $755. Water pump, 1998 Mitsubishi Mirage 1.5. This is an ASIN brand new water pump. RockAuto.com, not a sponsor. Part number WPM055. Came with a water pump, gasket, and a new bolt. One bolt. $33.99. And the V-belt for the accessory drive. The water pump belt, alternator belt, crank belt. It's a Gates 6732, 3/8 inch belt, 32 inches long. I negated the 1/8 inch. It adjusts out. $12.86 for a whopping $110.94 in parts. I did buy the upper hose, the lower hose, the radiator cap, the thermostat, and the gasket from a Generac distributor. So the radiator cap cost me $14.79. The lower hose, $37.19. The upper hose is $40.34. Now, out of all this stuff, the upper and lower hose are the two that you're most likely not going to find anywhere because they're molded and they fit this specific model of generator. So you know what? I'm gonna give them a little bit of pass on that one. $40 for an upper hose, $37 for a lower hose. I'm sure it's at least 50% over market value, but whatever. Alright, thermostat gasket. I figured this one out after the fact. Generac part number 48665, $7.11 for a freaking thermostat gasket. Now you might say, it's not too bad, Brian. It's expensive, but it's not bad. Yeah, well, when you take the gasket out of the package, there's a Felpro number stamped into it. Fits every small block and big block Chevy from 95 on back. You can get them for, pennies, $1.20, whatever. So that'll also be on my parts list. Thermostat, it's $195. Do not run a colder thermostat in these. The propane needs the heat. $34.21. Again, I didn't look this one up and I didn't measure it. I should have. I have a sneaking suspicion that it is a standard 350, 454 thermostat. Pretty sure. So before you buy one of these, go to your parts store or order from RockAuto or whoever a standard 350 cubic inch Chevrolet water thermostat and give it a shot first. $195. Don't go $180. So, yep, so the parts from Generac was $133. So I guess if you add that to the other parts list, that would be $244. So again, the difference is $21.26 versus $244. Insane. Yeah, the install went fine. Obviously I took a little bit longer. It took me several hours to tear it down and put it back together. And I do have a list I'll be posting for anybody interested in it. Sorry for the noise, the pump just cranked up. So I'm glad I did the work. It was good to get it apart and service it. It definitely needed it. I'm going to be honest and tell you that I'm a little neglect in, running it and doing like a monthly hot run with it and loading it. It just sits here, obviously, like most generators. Nobody cares about them until they need them, and then they care about them. So I'm going to have to do better running it. The cooling system was pretty nasty. I think I had a picture or a video earlier of the thermostat and everything in the housing. If not, I'll pop a picture up here. It was pretty bad. So I had to flush the radiator. I flushed the block out. I put a brand new 50/50 commercial coolant in it. Long life coolant. So we'll see how that goes. All in all, this is a fantastic unit. It's never given us any problems. We had to put a throttle control computer on it earlier this year, or the module, not a computer, it's just a module. It's the part that handles the load and adjusts the throttle. It went wacky, but I'm not going to fault that as far as the generator goes. I think that was a result of the lightning strike we had here. It was very close. The generator is right here. That tree right there is dead because lightning hit it. It is 100 feet from it. So a lot of things on this side of the house met their demise shortly after that lightning strike. I mean, we had light bulbs that just quit working, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's a great unit. It's quiet. It's 15K. We have a huge house with a big air conditioner that's sitting right here. It's a 5-ton. So, it's definitely small for the load we have on it. But we have a soft start on the air conditioner and stuff. So anyway, let's get back to the servicing and everything on the generator. Like I said, I put together a list of parts. Just to reiterate, this is a not a how-to. This is a how I do. So this is for entertainment purposes. If you find it interesting, thank you. If you can, use some information in it, by all means, do it. Use the parts list that I created. I did it to try to help some people because, dang, I mean, I've never been a fan of Generac. I've been a fan of their equipment, the the commercial stuff. Like I said, I think at the beginning I wouldn't give you a plug freaking nickel for the garbage lawnmower stuff that they put out for the home use. The standby generators. Yeah. Anyway, that's for another video. But the commercial units, I wouldn't hesitate to buy another one of these. You can pick these up relatively cheap. This particular engine powers 15Ks, 20Ks, and 25Ks, and you can pick them up relatively cheap. They'll either be taken from like a cell tower that's been decommissioned, or telecom companies, once they prorate everything off their books, a piece of equipment, they generally will rotate it out and put a new one in there. So these units like this one, it had 200 hours on it when I got it, and it was already 15 years old. So you can pick these up relatively cheap. Don't be scared of them. Spend a couple $100, have have a Generac tech look at it and, you know, give you their opinion. Don't get a technician that works on air cooled. They won't have a clue what they're freaking doing with these things. Yeah, but don't be scared of them. The biggest problem I have with these units is the rust. The housings are not designed very well. They have spots in them where the water collects, and they just rust out. I mean, if you look at enough of them, you'll see they rust. But I wouldn't even be scared of that. I mean, for the amount of money you'd have to spend to buy or build a new enclosure, you can take one of these units, take the housing off of it, leave the control box, or, you know, rig it up in a way to keep it where it's at, and go buy a small shed. I mean, like a really small shed, and put one of these in it, and put louvers for the air intake and the exhaust and stuff, and have a really good generator. There's not a lot to go wrong with them. It's a 1.5 Mitsubishi engine, and you know, as I showed you, the parts are readily available. Timing belt, like I said earlier in the video, I couldn't find any information on servicing it from Generac. You know, in the service manual it says inspect it, you know, look for cracks, look for this. Is the backing hard? Is it have weird wear patterns on it? They never come out and say, you know, they age out at 5 years, or they age out at 10 years, or you need to replace it after 7. They just never say it. Mine looked to be in really good shape. From my automotive background back in the day when I was a kid, you can't really go by that. I mean, you can have one that looks ratty, cracked, and it'll last another 5-6 years. You can have one that looks perfectly good and it'll snap tomorrow. You can't see inside the belt. So this one was 26 years old. For the money I spent, well worth doing it. I have peace of mind. You know, it shouldn't give me any problems for at least another 20 some years, hopefully. But yeah, I have a few more things to do on this generator that I've been putting off, like the amp gauge. The amp gauge doesn't work. The volts works and the hertz works. So we're gonna have to replace that. I'm not gonna buy a Generac one because I don't want to sell one of my children or anything for it. And the off auto manual switch, this one, it's a little tricky. Sometimes you can turn it off, put it on manual, hit start, it won't work. You gotta flick really hard, something with the contact, so that has to be replaced. As long as you don't fiddle with it, it's good. But all in all, it's a good repair. It didn't take that long. Obviously it took longer because I was filming it. Now that I've done it, I could probably cut the time in half easily. But like the stuff with the hoses and everything, I won't have to do that for a while. But I'm glad I did it. Glad I filmed it. Glad I did the research. Just to give you an idea, this took me weeks of time on and off, digging around, looking for, you know, cross references on parts, you know, going to commercial engine sites and looking up the parts that they put into it, and then cross referencing it over to trying to get it into automotive and finding an application for me to, you know, purchase the stuff. So, you know, I was 99% sure I had everything right as far as the timing and the tensioner and all that stuff, but you never know till you get it. And I'm glad it worked out. Hopefully this helps somebody else. And like I said, I'll have all this listed in the description below. So, you know, if you want to distribute it to forums or whatever, be my guest. Just, you know, this is for my specific generator. If it's a 1.5 liter Mitsubishi, it'll probably work on most of them. I think they only made them, well, they only use them in these generators, I think, from 94 2005 to 2002, I think. I'm not sure. But that's it for today. I've got things to do. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for sticking out with me. If you have any questions or comments, dump them below and I'll try to get back to you on it. If you have questions about what my generator is doing this and doing that, I'm not going to be able to help you, so don't put that down there, please. But hopefully this helps somebody. Hopefully this helps you save some money. That's the point of it. I guess you can just call us cheap, but I don't like spending 2,000% higher than I need to just to fund the Generac machine. So with all that, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.